April 11th, 2024, I saw Jeff Rosenstock, my now favorite artist that I had just recently discovered, play the Salt Shed, his biggest show he'd played to date. It was an amazing experience that I will never forget in my life. Opening that show was Sidney Gish, an artist I was unfamiliar with at the time. I listened to her set and thought it was incredibly impressive that she played through all of the songs with just a loop pedal and a drum machine, using a guitar for the bass lines, rhythm, and leads. She kept in the back of my mind the following week. I decided to check out her Spotify page and try and get into her music. I've been listening to No Dogs Allowed since then. It's one of my favorite albums to listen to when I'm out for a walk or need something chill to study to, due to its genius use of layering and layering and layering sounds on top of one another, but in a way that doesn't overwhelm my brain. But despite having listened to songs off this album for months, I never listened through the whole thing before. It's one of my red flags with music. I'll listen to a handful of songs off the album and not touch the rest in the fear that it won't be as good as the few hits I enjoy. But after listening through this entire album, I can say for a fact that this album is worth the full listen through. No Dogs Allowed, Gish's second full-length album released on New Year's Eve of 2017, all about the stresses and anxieties of a 20-year-old college student. Jazzy guitars along with lots of mixed percussion with it, and poppy keys behind all of it. Gish highlights the struggle of feeling like the way you are as a person is non-standard, and pointing out those flaws on your own, beating yourself up about those issues. Like in the second track, Sing Triangle. A track I didn't really enjoy when I first listened to it back in April, but is now one of my top picks of the whole album. The entire chorus of that song, Gish is highlighting her own bitchy two-faced tendencies and beating herself up for them. In Mouthlog, she talks about the dreariness of everyday life, being bored of class, bored of work, and how doing nothing is even worse, a dread that lingers no matter the activity she partakes in. And that self-deprecating tone comes back into play with her stating that if she's only thriving in negative emotions, she'll die swallowing all the sides of the conflict, drowned within negativity. She mentions multiple times throughout the album that these sweet instincts ruin my life, a statement that feels almost blame avoidant when you're reminded of what she's talking about earlier in Sin Triangle and Mouthlog. If she's feeling these insecurities and regrets and issues with her own judgment, why is she pushing it off like that? Why is she just ignoring it? Though, as she said herself, two-faced bitches never lie, and therefore I never lie. So we do have to take her sentiments with a grain of salt. All of this, though, in my humble opinion, beautifully tied up in the penultimate track of the album, Imposter Syndrome, a track that really defines what this album is all about. We hear again how these sweet instincts ruin my life, and Gish exemplifies these standardized qualities that humans have that she feels she lacks. There's also some clever lines in the track comparing her as somewhat between canine and human that scratch my brain when you remember, oh my goodness, that's referring to the album name. I'm a genius at this music analysis thing, aren't I? To which I say, yes, Adrian, you are. Overall, this album, whether you relate to the anxieties spoken in it or not, is definitely worth the listen. The production alone is worth a discussion exemplifying good use of layers. But what do I know? I don't believe in music theory. Though me and Gish are alike in that way. As from a Bandcamp post, she claims, I'm not studying jazz guitar, I just looked up a 251 tutorial and I want to get okay at it before I die, Lamau. Thank you for watching this awful album review I made. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like or comment to let me know. And maybe I'll do another one if I get some good feedback on this. But thanks for your time.